Hello friends, so this is kind of unexpected, but I've been thinking about it for the past few days. Obviously we had the Chiefs game. I wasn't expecting next Sunday to be a playoffs game day, and I know people are going to be very distracted by that and may not be as efficient to meet in person. So then I was thinking about making a video, and then I was about to leave to just go look at a house and decided that right now I had the time, I had the inspiration, and I had just rang my sound bowl, which also, for everyone who wants to practice Reiki, not everyone uses a sound bowl, but I definitely find it to be a very effective tool to have in your arsenal when working with energy, because if you think of a church bell, if you think of a gong, all these ritual, even an alarm, this sound that awakens us, perhaps physically, but also spiritually as well. So anyway, my thought was I'll send you a video now because I also had two students who wanted to only do online and then just do a private um, attunement session. I do like having in-person classes when we can, just so we can practice and work with each other, but I think I am going to plan a Reiki circle as well, which we will be able to discuss later. So my thought is film this video right now, send it out to you guys, and that way you can be practicing the next week, and then we'll find a date where we can meet up and basically go over what we have been learning, teach each other some things, do some in-person breathing techniques and whatnot. So I'm going to make this video, I think it'll be about 15 minutes long, things to think about, things to practice, and things that we'll go over in Reiki 2. That way we can really go smoothly into meeting together in person just to go over it. Kind of like a quiz, but not necessarily, because it's really about the questions that you have, and I like to treat things in an academic setting, which obviously I really am into the just learning the history and learning more about Reiki, and just going through my own, each of us are going through our own experience through Reiki as well. And I feel that me personally, I've been very busy and been doing a lot of personal healing as well. And I definitely think that's something that I not necessarily neglected, but being the ambitious person that I am, I really just wanted to go and start practicing and seeing a lot of people, and really I do think there is merit in really working on a lot of self Reiki, and that doesn't even mean you have to go through all of the hand positions, but sometimes when I'm feeling anxiety, I am just sitting there putting my hand on my chest, perhaps on my abdomen, and taking deep breaths and really just using Reiki for yourself. I think too, the challenge as well, we're in this, Reiki, it can be a business as well. And I definitely see Reiki as a thriving business. There's definitely a demand for it. But also, too, it's okay to be in this space of questioning, I guess, capitalism in general. I was thinking about this as well, how commerce is good, money is good, barter trade has existed since the beginning of humankind, and that's why we have the society that we have today, is because we have this exchange. So I think that is something to consider too. I also have given a lot of Reiki sessions for free, but there's always some kind of energetic trade as well, whether it be a friend or whether it be someone who does photography or someone who is also an artist. There's an exchange. So I want us to be conscious of that energy exchange. I think a lot of people really get burnt out because they give more to their job than they're receiving in return, and then not just money wise, but just the energy they're receiving back. Same with our relationships, our friendships. I definitely have seen dynamics in friendships change throughout Reiki as well, just being conscious of being conscious of our exchanges. Anyway, just to go over what we went in over in Reiki 1, this is one of the books. I'm gonna start making my own little flyers, but this will be a recommended reading, and all of these will be available on Amazon. This is my teacher, Carolyn. She's here on the back. So just going over, with Reiki 1, we kind of expect you to understand the chakra system, not necessarily even, it's the Western chakra system. So that's like we talked about before. There's 144 plus chakras. Chakras just mean energy vortex or center. But I do think using the rainbow guide as a tool to understand these centers can help us expand and direct that energy more precisely, perhaps. Reiki's always going to where it is needed, but we can also influence it. That's our job, as we are tapping into that energy that's all around us, that we all have access to, but that's why self-Reiki is so important too. We are practicing our harnessing of that. And I also think that it's something that we should be practicing on a daily basis. And I say should, that's not necessary. Everyone's practicing it their own way. I guess I'm noticing more how people are doing that. Even prayer really is an act of Reiki. I think the word Reiki and it being so universal and really just meaning energy, love, light, it's all about harnessing that. It's all about how we see the world and how we see our role in it, because we are shifting energy. If we look at ourselves from above, we kind of see ourselves as magnets, and the more attuned we can make our magnet, the more energy, the more movement we can create. And I think that's also the goal too, is movement. We're not harnessing energy to hold it, and we're not depleting ourselves to be empty of it, but we are allowing it to flow more directly. And I believe that through the Reiki process, we're helping people tap into that more. I guess they are tapping into that more. We are guiding that that flow more efficiently. I think that's why breath is so important as well, because breath is life, and that and ki also can mean breath. So if we're thinking about the way wind moves and how we are flowing with it, how trees bend and move along with it. Once again, going over founder of Shui Mikao. I always like to give appreciation to him and all the teachers that have come before us, before I begin a session, just to honor the lineage. And not that these people created this energy. I almost see them as scientists in a way. People who have learned a system, become very attuned to it, and have learned how to pass this knowledge on to others. So we also have Hayashi and Takata, which we talked about in Reiki 1. I highly recommend just learning more about them. I've just really enjoyed reading what they've written. And Takata had a clinic in Hawaii, so I'm excited to go see that. That's where she had a massage clinic along with Reiki, along with like a juice bar as well. This book, Essential Reiki, I also highly recommend. I will send a list along with this video. If you want to get really deep into it, and if you're wanting to go on to Reiki 3, I highly recommend this, because there's just a lot of great information in here to learn about. The other manual that I've used is Reiki, The Healing Touch. I also highly recommend getting this book by William Rand. He's still alive today. He teaches a lot, and he also has his own kind of branch of Reiki called Holy Fire, which kind of it's the same basis, but has other things added to it as well. I'm interested in learning it. I'm also kind of a purist as well. but I think maybe in the future I will maybe take a class from him or something. And I think there's a lot to be said about opening yourself up to all applications, because all this is really is a method and a tool for us to use as practitioners. And as practitioners, we are, in a I wouldn't necessarily say priests and priestesses. You can use those terms if you wish, but people know it's like people will start, the more you practice Reiki too, I definitely notice, the more you will notice others who definitely have that kind of, they may not be Reiki practitioners, but you can definitely sense that they are really moving. There's a lot of energy movement with them. They're very activated. They're very in tune. And so I definitely, I think open yourself up to that more. Sorry, I'm kind of going over time. We'll definitely, this video might be a little bit longer, so apologies. But you can watch this whenever you want as well. You can refer to this again and again. For Reiki level 2, so Reiki level 1, we go through how to practice Reiki on yourself and others. Again, I highly recommend practicing on yourself at least for the next week. As you're going through this process, I recommend that you practice self Reiki in some degree, some capacity, even if it's just for a minute in your car, at least once a day for the next couple weeks. If you wish to make this a daily practice, I highly recommend. And it's not something that you have to do every day, but definitely when you sense that you need it. Okay, so what is the difference between Reiki 1 and Reiki 2? Well, Reiki 1, we learned how to practice on ourselves and others. Reiki 2, we're learning the distance method, how you can send Reiki from a distance, which we've talked about. You can also send it to the past, present, the future. And this knowledge is kind of transferred through the passage of symbols, and these symbols are considered sacred, and I will send those to you as well. There's 3 of them. You may have learned Shokure, which is the top one, and that is the general, the opening symbol. It's almost like here we are opening time and space and energy, placing the power of the universe here. So we're kind of opening up that center. It's a symbol you can use when clearing a house on all 4 corners, or all 4 directions, I should say. You can do the corners as well, and you kind of press them in as well. You can use this symbol to begin a session. I highly recommend. Next is Seihei Ki. That is the second symbol there. And to start, I recommend just learning to write these down. I practiced several times with pen and ink over and over again. So I highly recommend doing that. Obviously, Shokure is pretty easy to learn, but the other ones you will want to commit to memory. Seihei Ki is about emotional energy, about mental energy, definitely one that can be used all the time. And emotional energy comes from the same place. And obviously, placing my hand on my heart, I feel like a lot of us feel emotional energy from here. And I think that there's a reason for that, because our body is picking up on, we think here, but our body is a whole sensory organ. Not all of our thoughts exist in our brain. And I think too, it's also important to note that obviously Reiki does not heal depression. Reiki does not heal any mental illness that we have. Reiki is merely a tool to guide the healing of ourselves, because we're all healing, right? Any healing of the mental, emotional, physical vessel is by our own choice. We are choosing to be healed. That's why when someone comes to you for Reiki, they've already done most of the work by choosing to be there, and we are most importantly, holding space for them. And that's why I feel that having a bowl, having incense, having music playing is a helpful tool for setting a space, because we naturally want to relax. That's one of the primary goals of Reiki, is relaxing. And also too, I should have opened with this, but I think too, just the original ideals, that's the handwriting of Ushu Mikao. And it says, essentially, the secret art of inviting happiness, the miraculous medicine of all diseases. See caveat. Just for today, do not be angry, do not worry, and be filled with gratitude. Devote yourself to your work and be kind to people. Every morning and every evening, join your hands in prayer or meditation and say these words to your heart and chant these words with your mouth. Usui Reiki treatment for the improvement of body and mind. Founder Usui Mikao. So, in that sense too, this, I think, that's something that you're able to share with your clients as well, if that helps them. I think the beauty of Reiki is you have, 60, 90 minutes with that person, and they really helping them just not necessarily escape, but be present in the moment without worrying about the past or present or future, or anything that's outside of these walls. That's why too, I also like to talk to my person when I'm working through a session. Not everyone wants to talk. Like not every practitioner, the client doesn't usually talk. And if you choose not to, that's totally up to you. But these tools like a bell, other things can help you kind of set the space, bring that person in that moment. And as much as we're working with the energetic body, that's attached to our mental well-being as well. And this symbol is something good to add when you're working on yourself as well. So I definitely feel that while you're practicing on yourself, also practice these symbols with yourself as well, going through them, practicing the drawing of them. They don't have to be perfect. When you're using these symbols in real life, or when you're using these symbols in a session, they don't have to be perfect. They are really an energetic interpretation, an abstracted sigil almost, that's helping you focus and delineate that energy. That being said, you can even just imagine the symbol. You don't necessarily have to draw it. When you do learn to teach and pass on those symbols, and there's more symbols you can learn as well, I do think it's more important to kind of have it memorized, but I still have to reference it a lot, especially with the next one. Okay, so we're already at 18 minutes. You know what? I think here's what we'll do. I'll let you guys sit with those two symbols, and then we'll go over Han Shase Shonin, which is distance Reiki, later. I mean, you can see it if you want to look at it. Just essentially, it's Japanese, and I had my friend rewrite it in contemporary Japanese that can actually be read, because the original is kind of written in old Japanese, which is there. But anyway, the idea behind that is that Reiki can be sent at a distance. Reiki's not bound by space or time or dimension. So we can send Reiki to the past or the future, especially within ourselves as well, which we will be practicing. And also sending it at a distance. And there's different methodologies for that. Again, no right or wrong way. And sometimes it's even just, a really quick and simple one. But I do believe that energy is all around us. We are made up of energy, and we are working with energy. So I believe the choice to walk along the path with the tradition of Reiki is one of a energetic wanderer who chooses to follow their path, follow where their energy guides them. And it's definitely an interesting journey, the healing path. And as healers, we're also healing ourselves. Healing's not a end goal. There's no finish to our healing. We will continue to heal ourselves, just as when we get scrapes and bruises, they scab and sometimes scar. And I think the word scar too just kind of rang a bell a little bit. Maybe that's something to think about. Our scars, our emotional scars, our we have scars, our body has healed, but there also can be more healing that we can do, such as placing those special bandages over scar tissue or skin grafting. Some of us have more fresh wounds than others. We are allowing our body to heal itself, just as when our knee scrapes, it's not the Band-Aid that is healing, it is the body that is healing itself, and the Band-Aid is merely a tool being used to help facilitate that healing by keeping it protected and whatnot. Remember to put up your protection as well, especially after a Reiki session on yourself. Taking a bath if you need, especially in this warm weather. Drinking lots of water. I've been trying to drink more green tea. I'm about to go drink some right now. Remember to take care of yourself. Again, we give thanks to our angels, our guides, our ancestors, for being here with us always. If you are guided to work with oracle cards or astrology or anything of that sort, highly encouraged to incorporate that into your Reiki practice as well, because the client base that is coming to us, or patrons, I like to call them, are people who are also searching for that knowledge too. So the more knowledge we can store and possess within ourselves, the more we can also let that knowledge freely pass so that others can gain that as well. And always remembering that we are our ultimate compasses of truth. We are the ones who determine where our north lies, and so always be questioning everything you read, such as, I think in the Reiki practice, being careful not to there's definitely, well, I could go on a whole other tangent, but just the idea that it's not Reiki that is Reiki's not going to cure some crazy disease. That disease can be cured, and that disease is cured by a number of things. Number one being that person's choice to be healed. There are people who are on their deathbed and make miraculous discoveries because they've decided that they are not quite ready yet. And that's not to say that death is ultimately our choice. Obviously, things happen. We could be gone tomorrow, but there is a power in that fight and that will to heal, that will to survive. And we've all survived so much to get to this point. And we are also we are a product of all of our ancestors that have come before us. So when we honor our ancestors and acknowledge that we're not only clearing our own energy, karmic debts, etc., we're also kind of clearing that generational karma as well. And we are survivors. We survive so much. So honor that path that you've walked along. Apologies, this video is longer than I thought, but mull that over, be practicing daily. Send me any questions that you have. We will determine a date to do Reiki 2 attunements and learn the distance symbol as well. Be practicing this, and feel free to research more, look them up. There's a lot of great other videos too. I'm here to be your teacher and your guide and to pass on the attunement. but also you are welcome to absorb as much knowledge as you want. I will send these books, the pictures of these books, and the links if I can find this one. Sometimes you have to get on eBay, but we will look that up. That was just my mug. That wasn't my song bowl. All right. Well, thank you guys for being here, and hope you enjoyed this video.